Hey business junkies, welcome to Andrea Lake 101, The Making of a Billionaire. This is the February 2025 episode. So what happened in February? What are we going to talk about? Well, we're going to talk about trading. Oh my God, I got to start trading again. Thank you. My favorite thing. And we're going to talk about what the fuck even does it mean to be a quant trader? Yeah, good question. How do really wealthy people compound their money? Even better question. Because don't you want to compound your money like a really rich person? I bet you do. So we're going to talk about that today, as well as what did we do in February? A lot of standard operating procedures, a lot of getting our shit together, a lot of dotting our I's and crossing our T's on a bunch of legal work, a lot of team cohesion, and we added a new team member. Woo! Hey Chance, welcome to the team. So I'm very excited to tell you about that a little later, but first we are going to talk about just the hustle and grind of being an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm sure that a lot of you guys watching this know exactly what I mean. Most of the stuff that is required for a company to become stable and to be in a position to scale. It's kind of boring. It's kind of the same thing every day. And when you talk about hustling, like I talked about making 12,000 phone calls when I started anti-establishment clothing in the last episode, that's pretty much what it looks like right now. So I am reaching out to all of the mid-sized businesses that are kind of more counterculture, that are a little bit cooler in San Diego and San Diego County right now. That is my job. That is mostly what I am doing because I'm engaging with new clients. So before we get into the general update of the office, let's just talk about sales, okay? Because I know how intimidating it can be to go do sales. So what even do I mean when I say like I'm going and getting these new high-end San Diego mid-sized company clients, like a mid-sized small business, like a small business that does anywhere from 2 million to 20 million annual revenue, which is sort of like more like a medium-sized small business. Those are the ones that I'm really reaching for right now. Anybody who has like maybe between 4 and 20 locations. So a local San Diego chain. So how do you like get them as a client? Because a lot of people think like, oh, you just go walk in. And I'm like, yes, you can do that. But that is going to be the lowest return, lowest success way to actually do that. Because if you just like walk into somebody's business during the day, first of all, you better make sure there are not any customers in there that you're interrupting them from making sales, because that is no bueno. Secondly, you do have to have something just to hand them really quick in case a customer does walk in and you're interrupting them. Also, it's kind of unlikely that the purchasing manager or the owner of the company is going to be there on the floor and have time to talk and want to break away from whatever it is they're doing to talk to you right now. So like, how do you do a sales approach? Well, I'll tell you how I do a sales approach. First, I reach out to them. If I can get their email, their actual personal email, or figure out the naming convention of that company for their email, I will just email the right person. So then from there, after that initial point of contact through the email or through the LinkedIn mail or whatever, we create logo stickers with their actual logo on it. Now we take the time, the effort, the attention to go ahead and do it because that has a very high conversion rate for us. We send them a letter, and then on the outside of the envelope, like it's very cool looking and it has their own customized stickers for their own brand, and that says like free stickers inside. And then on the inside, there's a letter with a QR code that shoots them through to one of our sample back pages that says like, hey, this is how we handle the stuff for us. So even though we know that you guys have 7 or 12 or 20 locations, all of the managers from all of the different locations or franchisees from these different locations can go and order their own stickers with corporate approved artwork. Like I would love to have a really quick 15-minute meeting where I like drop by and show you how it works. And then as we have thoroughly canvassed in other episodes, when I do drop by, I take treats. So I always take 2 kinds of snacks. Yes, I do. Naughty and nice. That is correct. I always take like fresh cut berries and something super healthy in case I'm eating with somebody who's really healthy. And then I also take some Trader Joe's snacks of whatever, or some gourmet cookies from a great local San Diego vendor. And just kind of show up with a little spread. And when I show up in person, even though I have already sent them samples, I always have extra additional samples. Like a lot. Like I'll bring them a couple hundred stickers that they can just distribute through their office because everyone loves stickers and everyone loves stickers of their own logo. And then when I meet with them in person, I help to onboard them to our process. I give them ideas of how things could go. I ask if there's somebody in their art department that I should be coordinating with directly to get all of the art assets over to us, and basically just make it as actually seamless and actually easy of a process as humanly possible. That is what you want to do. It is about 1,000 times more effective than just walking in and barraging somebody in the moment in a store when they are not expecting you. That absolutely can work too. And the way that I recommend doing that, if you're doing that, is just have a sample envelope or a sample catalog with your stuff. In our case, it's really easy because we have stickers, and then just hand it to them and say, hey, we're just running around to local businesses and we wanted you guys to be aware of us. We have a super smoking deal, 25% off for the next month for San Diego clients that are first-time customers. Hope you give us a try. Or something like super fast, super easy, super non-intrusive, total benefit to them. And then some of them, if they're very serious, they will engage you then, but it's 1,000,000,000 times better if they already know that you're going to come and they're expecting you to come with sticker samples. And then you also show up with some yummy, yummy food. I mean, that's a win. That is a win right there. And we don't need to convert that many clients because the clients that we're going for, again, are really high dollar spending clients. They're people who maybe do have a cooler breakfast restaurant in San Diego that's a chain that's just kind of kitschy, that has funny sayings that would be fantastic on stickers. And because our company is sort of, as I've mentioned before, we are like agency people. We're not an actual agency, but what I mean by that is everyone on my team is artistic and creative in some way. They just are. And they're very, very smart and they have very, very good ideas. So for example, there was one chain of restaurants that we were creating a little marketing campaign for. Why? Because they would buy all of those stickers from us. And they had a bunch of different specialty mimosas and a bunch of different specialty Bloody Marys and a bunch of different specialty meals that would come out. So we created these really kitschy stickers for them. They were having a meal that was coming out that was a seasonal item that was pineapples and a chicken sandwich and something else. So we made a cute little cartoon sticker of bread dancing with pineapple, dancing with a chicken. And you would get that sticker if you ordered that particular sandwich. Or each different Bloody Mary had its own little super cute character of a sticker. And then if you ended up trying all 4 of them, you would get a sticker with all 4 of the Bloody Marys on it, signaling your completion of that task or whatever. So if you have a bunch of college kids that are going in, or just even a group of friends that's going in on a Sunday morning, and they maybe want that particular sticker for that particular Bloody Mary or that particular sticker for that particular mimosa or something. So when we create little campaign ideas like this for our clients, they're stoked because do you know what? They hadn't thought of doing that. And that is absolutely going to increase your average ticket. There's going to be a whole bunch of people who are oh, wait, we've tried 3 of the mimosas, so we have to try that 1/4 weird flavor that nobody has tried yet. And really often, the reason that weird flavor combination is on there is because it's really good. And someone's a chef at that restaurant or a mixologist at that restaurant created this wild combination of whatever, jalapeno and passion fruit margarita or something. We dig in, or particularly as I dig in and my team digs in with me in brainstorming sessions to what could actually make this company buy more stickers. Then when I go into a sales approach, I will just be hey, we thought of this whole campaign for you. And generally speaking, the marketing director is are you fucking kidding me? That's actually a brilliant campaign. I think maybe we'll do that. And we do that a lot. We just did another one for a local coffee shop that we haven't even presented to them yet. It's a chain of coffee stores in San Diego. And so when we go in there, we'll come with this whole, not just hey, I want to take over as your sticker business, but oh, hey, have you ever thought about doing it exactly this way? And giving a free sticker out when someone takes an action. So for example, if somebody tries the coffee flavor of the month, or if somebody orders over a certain amount, then you get a free sticker. Or in some cases with some of our coffee shops, they literally just give out a free sticker with every single purchase. So they have a little sticker tower on their countertop with 9 slots, and you just get to pick a different super cool sticker for that coffee shop every time you go in. And pro tip here, those stickers, while they do contain the name of the coffee shop and they are branded with the look and feel of the coffee shop, The sticker that people actually want isn't just going to be the logo sticker, because it's only your super fanatic fans that are actually going to want your logo sticker. Most people are going to want a kitschy, funny sticker that says like, coffee is my favorite drug, or whatever clever thing that would be on that particular coffee related sticker. Death to coffee shop intellectuals, which is kind of a funny one that a lot of our coffee shops like. So for me personally, when I'm making a sale, I like for it to be a whole entire campaign that I'm telling them about, because what that assures is that they're probably going to do that campaign. And guess what? I own a sticker company, so spoiler alert, that campaign, yeah, it involves the purchase of a lot of stickers, which are, honest to God, like the cheapest, easiest, bestest way to market. That is why Apple themselves, the multi-billion, is it $1 trillion company yet? The only product that they ever give away extra in their own products is what? A sticker. That's right. And so all of those things have a sales cycle, and those sales cycles is what I was working on for all of February. So we've talked a lot about networking and these high-end business groups and why you should be in them. So if you are a starting out entrepreneur and you're doing somewhere between like $10,000 and $100,000 in revenue, you are going to want to join your local chamber of commerce and your local business groups, which whatever those are, they're different in every different city. But the Chamber of Commerce is consistent. After you cross over and you start going into six figures, you're going to want to start reaching out to EO, to Entrepreneurs Organization. Now, you're probably not going to be able to get into that organization actually until you are doing $1 million plus in revenue, but they do have programs within Entrepreneurs Organization where they do help out the up-and-comers to get to that $1 million level. So you're going to want to start reaching out to local and national business organizations as you start to scale, because your network is like magic. That is why I go to so many of these events. So this month in February, I went to the Renaissance weekend, not the medieval one. I talked about it a little bit on the last episode, but I drove to Santa Barbara to go to Renaissance Weekend at renaissanceweekend.org. I think I pretty aptly describe all of these groups as a fancy place where fancy people go and talk about fancy things. And because I am a quant trader, I got to be on the crypto and DeFi panel, which was awesome. I cannot talk about the content of those panels because it is a private event. However, I got to be on a panel with the Chief Operations Officer from Uniswap, with the Vice President of Engineering from Coinbase, with the founder of the Filecoin Foundation. What on earth? I was such an interloper. I'm like, I trade crypto. But it was really, really fun, and I got to translate some of the stuff into very basic English for people, because one of my superpowers always has been to be able to explain very, very complicated concepts in an understandable way, which you will see a little bit later when we start to talk about compounding returns. And spoiler alert, we are going to do that whole episode where I talk about crypto and compounding returns and what a quant trader is, etc. But we'll touch on it a little bit at the end of our episode today. So the Renaissance weekend was at the Ritz-Carlton in Santa Barbara, which is basically the bougiest thing ever. Is it nice? Yes, it's so nice. It was so nice. To be honest though, a little bit dated. They need to renovate their rooms. I am not gonna lie, those rooms are not inexpensive and they need to renovate them. I know exactly how bougie I just sounded, but it's true. That is an accurate and true statement. Was their room service good? Oh my God. Their room service was delicious. And the event itself, awesome as well. So the way that this particular event is set up, a bunch of people go and talk about all sorts of very cool topics. If someone is an astronaut, they talk about that. If they are a professor of linguistics, then they do a talk on linguistics. If they are a journalist, they talk about the scope of journalism today. There are wine distributors that talk about that. And I'm me, so I was put on crypto DeFi panels and entrepreneurship panels because that is what I talk about. And every time I go to any of these events, whether it is TED or the Milken Institute or Renaissance Weekend or Necker Island or the World Economic Forum or Summit or any of these places, every single time without fail, I meet a takeaway friend who I end up communicating with quite a lot after the event. This time was no different. But every single time that I go to events like this, it's like puts other pieces of the puzzle in place. And this particular event had lots of people, lots of large institutions, corporations, etc., that would be in charge of their sticker buying. So that went really well for sort of open the door invitations. And the reason that I go to stuff like that is because that's all that business is. All that business is people make deals with each other. And guess who they make deals with? People they like to do business with. So I walked away from Renaissance Weekend with a bunch of new connections of people who are awesome, some of whom will be acquaintances, some of whom will be friends, and some of whom will be people that I do business with. And meanwhile, while I was working on that, Brian was battening down the hatches at Sticker Junkie, as was Jenny, until she left us to go to Japan. Lucky duck. Lucky duck. And we got to see how would we do without Jenny, because she was gone for almost 2 weeks. And how did we do? We did pretty great. Why? Because Jenny trained people to do the parts of her job that needed to get done while she was gone. That is what I'm talking about when I'm like, look, there's just a couple months of a slog. There's just a couple months of us just like getting our shit together. Like making sure that we have multiple people trained on customer service, not just Jenny. Remember, we only had Jenny as our first employee at first. There were just 4 of us there. There was 1 person doing customer service. Well, now we have more customer service than that. So we need multiple people, and we need redundancy, and we need backup in case somebody is traveling or in case somebody gets sick. And we have many, many designers. I think we have 5 or 6 designers on staff right now. We have many people in production. That way, if somebody is out, somebody else can come in. And of those many people, we have to have backup on backup on backup of who knows how to use the machines, who knows how to clean the machines, who knows how to repair the machines if they're gone, who knows all of the stuff. Every single area of the company has something like that. And up until about really 2 or 3 months ago, when we really started drilling down on laying our foundation properly, we didn't have redundancy backups. So like it would have been a humongous problem for Jenny to leave and go to Japan pretty much right up until she actually did. So now she got Wendy trained up to speed on how to do backup customer service, sort of backup office manager stuff. Mads is up to speed on customer service. There's just a bunch of crossover for different people doing different things. I think Michi even tucks in there sometimes, so that the bus doesn't ever stop rolling down the street, no matter what is happening on the inside of the bus. If we have to pull over and change drivers, we're actually able to do that because more than one person knows how to operate that vehicle. And that takes time. It just does. So in my insane, like we're going to do 26% per month compounding growth, I sort of didn't factor in exactly how much foundationally that we needed to have, but the sales are going fucking great. Thank God. So the other thing that happened was we brought a new person on board. This dude named Chance. Hey Chance, who worked with Brian at Jinx. And he's in our production team right now. However, we are all planning for the future because we have so many big things that we're laying the foundation on. We talked a lot on the last episode about sticker towers. I have been talking to artist after artist after artist after artist after artist after artist in February. For those of you that are watching on YouTube instead of listening on Apple Music or wherever you're getting your podcasts from, the artist right behind me, Ryan Henry Ward, is now in talks with us to become one of our featured artists in Sticker Junkie. I also have been having tons of other conversations with tons of other artists, many of whom are going to sign off with us in March. And so I will be able to very soon share their name and share their artwork. I obviously shared the art of Wild Hunt on the last episode, and very excited that the Hot Topic buyers did get back to us. Oh, Hayden, throw it back up there for us again and say, yes, in fact, they really did like this design. So this one with sort of the Valentine's coloration will be coming at you at some point in the near future in your Hot Topic. I'm super excited. It's fun to onboard new artists, and it's so amazing to see them have their first experience of seeing their designs in a really large chain store. We're also going after tons of mom and pop stores. Well, what does this have to do with Chance? Good question. One of Chance's main jobs when he was at Brian's former company, Jinx, was to create these beautiful, insanely expensive booths for huge trade shows, because Jinx was the licensor for lots and lots of merchandise for Minecraft, for World of Warcraft, for Call of Duty, for The Walking Dead. That is how I got those sales distribution rights, is that I had a partnership deal with Jinx. And so Jinx would go to like BlizzCon, which is the conference for Blizzard Gaming, which has the video games StarCraft, World of Warcraft, and Diablo. And they would have these like insane, 30-foot high, 40-foot high booths with like different screens and different lighting effects and different awesome stuff that you could see from all the way across the conference floor. And they would have this whole queuing system for the line, because the line would be hours long, because Jinx was the licensor for Blizzard Gaming. So like any exclusive World of Warcraft merchandise or StarCraft, Diablo merchandise that you were only ever going to be able to buy at the trade show was out of their booth. And their booths were wild. They looked like movie sets. They were gorgeous. And because I had a partnership deal with Jinx and saw so many of their booths, I already was aware of that. They exhibited at Magic, which used to be the biggest apparel trade show. Well, it was the biggest apparel trade show in the country, I believe, which makes it one of the biggest in the world. And they had huge streetwear sections, huge t-shirt sections. And all of my friends with all of the clothing lines I always talk about, like Tap Out, I think won the best booth there once. And they would spend like $500,000 to $1 million to go to Magic. I don't know what Jinx spent on their booths, but it was a fucking lot, because their booths were gorgeous. And when you go to Magic trade show back in the day, it would be like FUBU had incredible booths, and all of the big Skechers and like all of the big companies from the early 2000s just would pour cash into these booths, because you could write millions of dollars worth of orders at a trade show like this back in the day. And Jinx one year won best booth at Magic trade show, which is insane. There is some stiff competition. There is company after company after company that is just pouring cash into their booths at that show. And Chance led the team that created those booths. And so as we're starting to move forward and roll out our sticker tower program, well, guess what else we're going to do? We are going to start going to events. So we're going to San Diego Pride, we're going to the San Diego Beer Fest, and assuming that those events go the way that I believe that they will go, we will start to roll out to wider and wider national places, like the national brewery conventions, the national dispensary conventions, the national tattoo conventions. And now we have this dude already in place who, as soon as we start to do that, that will become more and more and more of his job, until it is to the point where we just need somebody that's building sets or building booths or building stuff like that. Because of course, as we expand and re-domicile our location, which we're going to do like in September, I'm going to buy a huge piece of land, so that with at least one building on it, so that we can build our own buildings and build our own entertainment building for Power Chick Mafia Entertainment, which is coming. So all of the stuff that we're doing right now feeds into the circle that I always talk about, of like one thing leads to the next thing, leads to the next thing, leads to the next thing. So for example, with the sticker towers, we're signing on 42 artists. Why? That's a lot of artists. Maybe it'll be 27. It depends on, it'll be one of the numbers that I like, but I think it'll be 42. I'm going to host super cool events for all of my artists, very similar to what I do in Sedona Magic. Why? Because it gets them all together. It forms a lot of camaraderie. We'll do super fun stuff. Do art together. They'll get all of their ideas, and all of them have followings too. And then they will post about it on their social media, and then that will bring a whole bunch of attention to how much we support artists, because we actually really do. And we'll talk about how, like, hey, most of our competitors, which is true, in the distribution space, not like necessarily just in sticker space, but this is the part where I'm rebuilding delinquent distribution. Remember, I'm rebuilding 2 companies at a time. Sticker Junkie and Delinquent Distribution are the companies this time for this. So we're representing all of these artists, and when we bring them together for a huge gathering like that, they're going to shoot tons of content, and we're going to share all of that content. And then a ton of other artists are going to see what we do for artists, and then they're going to want to apply for the next round of the cohort that we do for our artist residency program, and sell in the sticker towers and make the commission that we're giving to people who sell in the sticker towers. So all of it feeds into each other, and all of it feeds into the story of what we're creating. So I can't wait to see the story continue to expand more and more. So the part that we were in for most of February, is not the fun part. It's not the exciting part. It's the slog. It's the no, I really do have to make this many phone calls today. I have to send out this many emails today. We have to fix whatever is going on in whichever department has something to be a little bit off. We have to get a backup redundant person in customer service, or to be a backup mechanic on the machines, or fill in the blank, who is that person going to be for where, taking all the meetings, making sure everything is in line, etc. There's a whole lot of days when you're doing stuff like that where I just wake up and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this today. I don't feel like doing this today. This sucks. This is not my favorite. And what do you do when that's the case? Well, for me, I stack my day. And I do the thing that I have the actual most resistance to, the thing that I the most do not want to get done. I do it first. That way it's done. I do it first, and I do it before I think about it a whole lot. I just set it up the night before. I'm a super aggressively early riser. I wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning Pacific time. And I just immediately get up and do whatever the thing is that I set up for myself the night before that I really don't want to do, or else it would have already been done. And then I always make sure that I knock off 2 or 3 things that day. I assign them before and say, I will absolutely get this done today. These 3 things, high side, these 5 things, but it's always 3 things and these 2 things are a bonus, and then that feels nice if I get these 2 things done. And then everything else is up for grabs. Everything else I can do the things that are more fun or more exciting for me, but that is how I personally deal with it when I have to do stuff that just isn't that fun. Or the other mental trick that I do when I'm really just yeah, I don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. First of all, I will let myself slide a day or maybe 2 days, but if it's on the 3rd day and I still haven't done it, I'm like, nah, you're doing this first thing in the morning. Then I set up my whole space to accomplish whatever that task is, so that there is no friction getting started with it that morning. In the similar way that you hear a lot of people who are habit stacking say, hey, if you plan to go to a 5 o'clock yoga class, put all of your yoga stuff directly right by the door. Put your clothes on the counter in the bathroom so that you just walk in there and get changed first thing in the morning, that there's no decision making, that you're not running around trying to look for the right shoes or for your mat or for your water bottle or whatever it is. And it's kind of similar if I set up a task that I'm really having a lot of resistance for, the correct tabs are already opened on my browser. If I need something to write with, my notebook is just sitting right there, so that there is no friction to me completing whatever the task is that I have been lagging on. If I have to review really intense legal documents, for example, we just redid the terms and conditions on our website. Nobody is excited to read 17 pages of new terms and conditions with a fine-tooth comb and make sure everything says what it's supposed to say where it's supposed to say it. So I would just simply wake up, it would already be open, that would be the first thing that I do in the day, and then it's just done. The third thing that I do myself, a little mental trick, is I have a really big vision of where I'm going. Where I'm going is making $1 billion by 7/7/2031, which was, at the time that I set that goal, was 7 years away. So as I'm facing a day or a series of days or a month of just climbing the hill, one foot in front of another, going after the slog, getting this 26% per month compounding returns on sales, aggregating it out through the year, when I'm doing stuff that's just daunting or overwhelming and I just need to put one foot in front of the other in that moment, I try to remember and harken back to, what is my big vision? Why am I doing this? Well, I'm doing this because if you don't get to 4 million in the second year, then you're not going to get to 10 million in the third year. And if you don't get to 10 million in the third year, then you're not going to get to 30 million in the fourth year. And if you don't get to 30 million in the fourth year, you're not getting to 100 million in the fifth year. And if you don't get to 100 million in the fifth year, you are not getting to 300 million in the sixth year. And if you don't get to 300 million in the sixth year, then you're not going to hit your $1 billion goal, period. So I refocus myself and then I say, why do I actually want to do that? Well, I think it's high time that women are on the top of the Forbes 100. It is astounding to me that the only women that are there through marriage or divorce. That is not surprising. It was not legal to get a business loan until I was 14 years old, until 1988. It was not legal for a woman to own a house or have a credit card until the year that I was born in 1974. Women are coming in from behind. And we have had centuries of men taking credit for our work. Go ahead and Google that in any science platform. Because women were not allowed to publish work. So a male colleague would publish it in their name instead. And I'm quite certain that there's a whole lot of women who have been behind a whole lot of businesses who didn't get credit for them either. So seeing we are at the very starting point, wouldn't it be fun if we hyper accelerated and just caught up? Like in the next 2 generations, like within my lifetime, within the next 30 years, that would be dope. How does that happen? Women have to start making and compounding money. How do we compound money? What does that even mean? Great question. We are going to cover a tiny bit of that after a little bit more housekeeping on what happened in February. The other thing that happened in February, David and Dana and Koa are fucking killing it in production. Love to see it. Courtney and Michi and Wendy and David and Hayden killing it in design. Wendy and Mads and Jenny killing it in customer service. Jenny, best office manager ever. Brian, fucking dope COO. Our general counsel, super amazing. Got a bunch more legal stuff put into place. Everybody's just cracking it out on all cylinders. In addition to that, we, of course, had super fun outings because it's one of the things that we do. So mostly the outings in February actually were in the office. We had a super fun thing that I missed because I was in Santa Barbara where everybody made like their own special treats and brought them in for Valentine's Day. And then everybody got to make boxes where they took 1 or 2 of everyone's treats, and they looked gorgeous. I was so sad to miss it. I saw the Instagram reel and I was like, oh my God, you guys went all out. We have so many bakers on our staff. It is wild, the talent of people that work for us. And we have so many people that love to cook on our staff. So whenever we have like a potluck or something, oh, it is good. We had Dave from production, his birthday, and David, my brother's birthday. And everyone in the office loves their birthday, loves to come in on their birthdays. I know I've mentioned that before. We get those super cool posters that Michi puts together, and sometimes David, our other graphic designer, puts together those posters, and they are so cool. And for my brother's birthday, like when we started hiring people, the first 2 men that we hired after Brian were both named David, like David and Dave. And then my brother's name is David. So we had 3 Davids. So luckily Dave goes by Dave. David, the designer, is David, not David. And then my brother David, except for that, I don't even know how this started. I think Jenny started this. She just started calling him brother, like, hey brother. It might have been Emily. I don't remember. And so now everyone at the office just calls my brother, like that's his nickname. So they did a brother themed birthday party for my brother David, where everybody in the office came dressed as famous brothers. So like 2 people came as the Property Brothers, 2 people came as Luigi and Mario, 2 people came as the brothers from the Lost Boys. And then nobody told me that this was happening. So they're like, oh, we actually thought it through. We wanted you to just show up and be the sister. And I was like, I love that. That made it so easy on me not to have to come up with a costume. So it was a super fun birthday party for David. And it continued like a really nice time for everybody in the office. I also went to Trader Joe's and got all of the newest Valentine snacks for one of our meals. And we all tried all the newest Valentine snacks from Trader Joe's. We just have a fun time. So the other thing that happened that was really cool this month is we had great Instagram. Hayden is smashing it out of the park with the Instagram. And in the design team, David has taken over the look of the new website along with Emily, who did the flow of the new website. So they're kind of going back and forth and passing all this cool design work back and forth and working together to create the vision that I wish was in my head, as good as it came out, but it wasn't. I love the new website. Oh man, check it out. If you are on YouTube, then you're actually seeing it visually. It's going to, of course, be a little bit different than this, but it's in process and it should launch sometime mid-March. Finally, a new, beautiful website. Well done, David and Emily. So this is what I mean by like we're laying the foundation. A lot of stuff on the website was very scrapped together when we switched over platforms and we're using a bunch of different people's apps. Well, now we're custom coding all of our own apps. So like our calculators are ours now. They're custom coded for us now. The way that we do rush production is ours now. We coded that ourselves. So as we move along, the website will continue to get more beautiful and tighter, and the flow of it will get better and better and better. We're releasing a couple of new generators, which I cannot wait to do. So everything just really really is coming together. And we believe that the pace of hyper growth will start again in April, which I am super, 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 super excited for. So now let's get to the pièce de la résistance, the piece that everyone has been waiting for. You guessed it, compounding returns. So most people in the United States only understand how compounding returns work against us with credit card debt, with student loans, with any type of usurious loan or unpaid bill that is accruing interest on a compounding rate. There are a lot of credit cards out there where you are paying 29% interest compounding daily. So 29% per year on the money that you owe, compounding every single day. That's cuckoo pants crazy. That is a very similar way to the way that a lot of student loans work, to where they allow you to pay less than the actual interest that is accruing on the loan. So no matter how much you pay over what period of time, that loan just keeps going up. Well, there is also a way that compounding returns can work for you. And I'm going to go into great detail on that in the next podcast, Crypto 101. However, I'm going to give you a very quick example of how compounding returns work. All right, here are all the disclaimers. This is not financial advice. This is something that I have figured out for myself that works for me. This is what quant trading is, and this is what compounding returns are and how they work. So for anybody that is watching on YouTube, I am actually pulling up spreadsheets. And for anybody that's listening on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you're getting your podcast from, if you would like to go see the spreadsheets, then go and check this out on the YouTubes. So if you were to buy an asset, it does not matter what this asset is. Today, we're going to use a cryptocurrency as our example called Ethereum. Today's price on Ethereum is $2,200 per coin. So if I had, let's call it $3,000, I would take that $3,000 and I would break it up into 10 different trade lines at different price points that Ethereum trades at, anywhere between $1,500 and $3,500. Then I would say, hey, every time it gets to $2,250 or $2,500 or $2,750, I'm going to put that $300 purchase in. Then I'm going to sell it at 10% higher. This is not financial advice. This is just simply what I do. And I'm going to execute that trade over and over and over and over and over again at a whole bunch of different percentage points. So every single time that Ethereum is $2,200, I'm going to buy some of it and I'm going to sell it at 10%, 25%, 50%, and 100%. So I'm going to take that $2,200 Ethereum and sell it at $2,420, at $2,750, at $3,300, and at $4,400. And I'm going to keep executing that trade over and over and over again. So the very first time that I purchase Ethereum for $2,200 a coin, I'm going to buy $300 worth of it. So I'm going to buy like a tenth of a coin. And then I'm going to sell it when the price of that coin goes up to $2,420. And I'm going to make $30 off that 10% flip. Then I'm going to take that $330 total and buy it again the next time that the price drops all the way back to $2,200. And then I'm going to sell it again every time the price goes up to $2,400. Now, for those of you listening on audio, this might be a little bit confusing, but you can tuck over and check us out on YouTube, and it has the whole charts for how this works, because I'm about to blow your damn mind right now. So I do the second time of that same exact trade, and now my $300, well, now it's worth $363. Then I'm going to take that $363, I'm going to put in a buy order for Ethereum again when it hits that $2,200 price point for $363 this time, and I'm going to walk away almost with $400. Well, guess what? This math is mathing. You only have to do that 86 times to go from $300 to $1,088,659. Yeah. That math is good. That math is mathing. That is a very basic description of what compounding returns are. In the same way that the money stacks against you, little by little by little by little, in a credit card, it stacks for you little by little by little by little if you are trading on a system of compounding returns. And in my particular case, I have created a trading system where I, personally me, never sell at a loss. If I buy something when the market is really high, like if I were to buy Ethereum for $3,500, let's say, and the market drops, like it just did, all the way back down to $2,000, I would not sell my $3,500 Ethereum period at all, ever. I would wait until Ethereum is back up above $3,500 and sell it for whatever my pre-designated sell point was. So if I bought that $3,500 and I intended to sell it for 10% up, then I would sell it the next time that Ethereum hit whatever that is, $3,700. If I bought it at $3,500 and I intended to sell it at a 50% markup, then I would sell it at a 50% markup, whatever that is. I would never sell it at a loss as the market is dropping, because in crypto, the market can drop 25% in a day and it can go back up 30% the next day. That's why trading on compounding returns is pretty fucking dope in crypto. I realize that was like a bit of a convoluted explanation, especially if you're listening on audio, which is why I'm dedicating a whole entire episode to crypto, to what crypto is, to why I trade in crypto, which, spoiler alert, it's just because of the volatility. If I were to trade on the New York Stock Exchange, it just moves more slowly. It's moving a lot now, but it takes way longer for an asset to increase 18% on the New York Stock Exchange, and it does so with far less frequency than it does in crypto markets. So my nickname and the name of my fund is Anti-Fragile Andrea. So my fund is called Anti-Fragile Capital. Anti-Fragile is a nickname that was deemed to me by my mentor. So years ago, my trading mentor, who I have spoken about before, dubbed me Anti-Fragile Andrea. Anti-fragile means not just to be able to weather volatility, but to actually be able to thrive in the face of volatility. And there is hardly anything more volatile than the crypto markets. So I created a system that, to me, is not gambling. My mentor gave me an assignment to create a trading system that wasn't gambling to me. And so I said, well, okay, I will never sell at a loss. And he said, that is not possible. You have to cut your losses for opportunity cost. And I said, you are incorrect. I can figure out how to do that another way. And he said, nope, I'm right. And he's one of the best traders in the world. And then I talked to another one of the best traders in the world who also told me that I had to sell at a loss. Otherwise, no bueno. It's not a good trading system. And it took me 3 years to write my trading system. And I do not sell at a loss, ever. Because to me, selling at a loss is gambling, period. If sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, that is the literal, actual definition of gambling, and I do not gamble. I have had so many of my friends make fun of me when they're like, what the fuck do you mean you don't gamble? You're a crypto trader. I'm like, I never sell at a loss, ever. So my only risk is if the asset that I am trading in goes to zero, which is the same risk that anybody that is invested in anything over the whole course of forever has. If the asset that you're invested in goes to zero, then you lose it. Other than that, it doesn't matter how high the market goes or how low the market goes. I do not sell at a loss, period. Which is why one of the core tenets of my trading philosophy is do not put more money into trading than you can comfortably afford to lose, number one, or that you're going to need back anytime soon. So when I got to start trading again, I started trading at first with just like a few $1,000s because I didn't want to get into the position where I needed to sell out my trading portfolio ever again. And because compounding returns just work no matter what you start with. I am going to show you the most brilliant example. So everyone has seen the viral TikTok of the magic penny, where somebody asks someone, hey, would you rather have $10,000 or a penny that doubles every day for a month? And we're gonna like look at the math of that and see why that is so freaking cool, and why, while people know that it's a trick question and they should choose the penny, they don't know why. So if you start on day one and you have a penny at the end of that day, you have 2 pennies, and then 4, 8, 16, 32, etc. And at the end of the first week, you got $1.28. Well, that is not a lot of cash. Not a lot of people are getting excited about $1.28. But are you getting excited about a 128x multiple on your money in a week? That's insane. By the end of second week, on day 14, you have $163. By the end of the third week, on day number 21, you got 21 grand. And on the 30th day of that month, you have $10,600,000 $737,418. If it is a 31-day month, you got over 21 million bucks. It is crazy, cuckoo pants crazy how compounding returns work. So for quant traders, we're like, oh, wait a minute. What if I just bought Ethereum every single time that it was $2,200 and sold it every single time it hit $4,400? Well, that would have only happened 2 times so far as the market moves. And is it guaranteed to always go back down to $2,200? No. Is it guaranteed to always go back up to $4,400? No. But now you have a better understanding of the basic premise of compounding returns, because as I showed you, starting with $300 at 10%, you have to flip that trade, that, Ethereum for $2,200, sell it for $2,420. You have to do that 86 times at 10% compounding return. But if you're at 100% compounding return and you start with $300, are you freaking kidding me? You only have to do that 12 times to go from $300 to $1.22 million. And that is why a quantitative trader like myself will trade on a whole different range of where the asset could go and a whole different bunch of percentage points of where the asset could multiply, because one of those lines should be your banger winning line. Or, this is not financial advice, this is just what I do, this is just how I trade. One of my trading lines should be one of those banger lines. That makes it from $300 to $1 million. And in the next episode, we are going to talk a whole lot about trading and crypto and why I trade in crypto, and also catch us up with just the first week of March. So that was your little sneak peek on crypto and compounding returns. We will be talking a lot in the coming years about crypto and compounding returns, because alongside of regrowing all 14 of the companies that I've ever started, right now it's Delinquent Distribution and Sticker Junkie, I am also starting my trading portfolio, which all by itself, as I am able to pay myself through owner draws or through salary in my company, I'll be putting so much of that money back into my portfolio and spinning up my portfolio on the side. So I will also start to keep you updated with the numbers for that. So that's it for this episode of Andrea Lake 101. Join us next time where I cover the first week of March and all things crypto. All right, guys, have a super great day, and I will catch you next time on Andrea Lake 101, the making of a billionaire.